What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and today I will be taking a walking tour of Duncan Creek Park. This is a park that's located in the North York district of Toronto. It is a park that probably has a very long path. Before I continue walking, I would like to take a look at one of the features. In this park, there's also a decent sized playground right over there, as you can see. It is a playground, which is a pretty ordinary feature that most parks have. There's a set of swings right over there, as you can see. So now, I am going to continue walking along the path. I was actually pretty prepared to walk on the long path today because I drank a lot of water. That actually gives me a really good reason to walk a long path because I feel pretty hydrated. So I'm going to start off and follow along this path and see where it leads to. I'm pretty excited to see how long this park is. I do expect this park to have a lot of trees though, because it's called Duncan Creek for a reason, right? When you heard the word creek though, you do expect the park, you think the park is going to have creeks, but let's see, right? Let's see what it feels like when I do the long walk. It is a sunny day. Oh, there's some fences here. Wow. It is actually lots of greenery in this area. Lots of trees. Provides plenty full of shade. I'm actually pretty excited to see the whole park. It has more trees. It has definitely a lot more trees than certain parks that do have. If it's going to be a park that's designed with one path, but one very long path, then of course they should design it in a way where it's surrounded by a lot of trees, you know? It is also good that the path is not completely straight. The path is kind of like a winding path, as in the path curves sometimes, you know? It curves different directions. I mean, even if it curves a bit, it's nice because it's better than walking a straight path, you know? It is really nice to see the texture of the sky, see a bit of the sun popping out behind the clouds, you know? It is really nice. And speaking of this park though, there's some water right here. Let's take a look at the water. You can see that if you look closely, there's some rocks right there. And let's take a look on that side, the other side of the fence, you know. You can see that there's water there as well. Wherever there are rocks though, there's going to be water. I could see why it's called Duncan Creek though, because there's water. There's like little streams of water in this park. It makes a lot of sense. Because when you hear that a park is called something Creek Park, you're going to expect that the park has creeks, you know? Or it has at least some parts though. It has rivers or streams of water. I feel like walking this park just feels a bit more natural than walking other parks. It is because there's many parks that I walked in though, right? There's many parks that are you know, kind of generic though. But this park is it feels more natural because you're walking though and there's a lot of trees on both sides. Or bushes, you know? It's pretty bushy in this area. It is quite bushy actually. It is pretty nice to experience a park like this. You see, it's kind of it's partially cloudy though, but it's not bad. Gives you a mix of shade though. Gives you a bit of a hot temperature relief because it's been a pretty humid day. It is a good balance though when there's some clouds because you get more wind. You know, it's good to It is a bit breezy right now, and I like that. You know, I like it to be a little bit somewhat breezy, but also not overly windy, you know? Let's take another look. There's another gap right here, so let's take a look at the water again, the rocks, whatever you call it. You can kind of see a bit of the rocks right here. You can see a little bit of the water on this side. Really nice, right? I could hear a little bit of the water sound, but not like very loud. So that means I'm going to continue following along this path and see how long the path actually is. It is a long park, you know, it is a long path. There's like a branch coming off like this, but I think this leads to an, like, I don't know what this leads to actually. You know what, I'm going to take a small look though, because I'm curious. And then I'm gonna get back on the main path. I just want to know where this path leads to. If it doesn't lead far, then it's probably just residential, but let's take a look. Alright, it looks like this path just leads to the residential street, so there's really not much up here. There really isn't much up here, so I guess I'm gonna turn back from here. Yep, that means I'm gonna turn back. There's not much up here. Heading back down to the main path, and I'm going to continue walking along the path. It is so nice. It's so nice walking downhill because I don't have to use much energy when I'm walking downhill. So I'm going to continue following along this path and see how far it really is. It is a pretty decent path though. I feel like I've been walking this path for a while. Maybe not too long though, but it's probably longer than I think. So many trees though. Oh, imagine walking this in the winter time. Just imagine walking this but without the leaves though. Like imagine the whole different vibe. Like the whole vibe would feel different if there were no leaves and you could just see through the trees. It's so much more transparent. Right now, like some areas look pretty like opaque because you can't really see through it much, right? It's really nice to see that there's a seating area right here. There's a bench. But I think because the paths in this park is long though, like this one path, there should be more benches. I think there should be more benches. Well, instead of each bench being spaced out very far apart, they should put more, you know, there should be like, I don't know, man. That's just my opinion though. That's just my thoughts. If I were to think of like one way that they could improve the park though, or make the park better, I would say like add more benches. But overall, I already think that this is a very nice park. I'm already like pretty satisfied walking this park. It is pretty much very bushy like through the whole path though. Like most of the path is like both sides are like surrounded by trees. Makes a very nice path to walk on. It's a pretty decent path. And you're given like the walkable weather, like, you know, this like pretty like suitable outdoor weather for walking. It is nice for sure.
Studies and this and that. I said, no. I said, the only
And then there's more fences. Suddenly, like random fences. And then I do see a bridge over there. Oh, pretty nice. Actually, I want to see what that bridge is. I don't think there's much if I cross it though. But let's see though. Let's see what it looks like if I go to that bridge though. If I go towards that bridge especially, I want to see what it looks like. All right. And it looks like I'm gonna take a turn this way. I'm gonna take a look at this bridge. Wow, it's a metal bridge. Pretty nice. Metal bridges tend to be like one of the most sturdy bridges, the strongest. Well, that means if bikers were to bike on this bridge, it would make some noise for sure. And then I don't know where this path leads to, so I'm gonna give it a try. But if it leads back to like residential streets, then I'm gonna turn back and continue on the other paths, you know. Well, I really don't know if the paths in this park split though. I wouldn't know. You know what I could see though? I could actually see that far ahead though. It does lead to residential streets. So what that means is I'm going to turn back because I don't think there's anything interesting up there. So I'm going to walk back down and see the other paths. And I'm walking downhill. Very relaxing to walk downhill. Wow. Good thing I'm pretty hydrated though, just for in case if I have to like walk slopes though, or deal with like uphills or whatever you call it. Good thing I'm hydrated. Way past this bridge, I'm gonna take the path ahead and see what's up there. Because since there's a path right there though, I want to know what it looks like up there, right? I think it just leads back to the residential street. And I guess, yeah, there's not much in this path though. But I do see that up there there's a playground. I think it's part of the Duncan Creek Park. Like if not this path though, then maybe there's another path that connects right to it, right? Actually, yeah, there might be another path that connects right to it. So I'm actually gonna give it like, I'm actually gonna turn back though. I'm gonna turn back and see what's the other path that connects to it. Yep, there's a path right here. I think this actually goes to the playground because this path kind of goes onto the hill, as you can see, right? It goes up. So maybe this goes to the playground. Let's have a look. Looks pretty cool, right? Looks like a really nice path to walk in. Looks pretty decent. But then there's a lot of trees ahead of me though, so I wonder if this park also like continues this way as well. Like, I wonder if this way comes to the end of the path, or is there actually more in this park if I go this way? Because I imagine that this park splits into like multiple different paths. See, I wouldn't know unless I walk it, right? I really wouldn't know. The path does continue there though, but I don't think there's much over there, so I think this is like the furthest I can walk. I think if I continue that way though, it might lead somewhere else. It might lead to like, it might not be a part of the park if I go that way, or it might be a different park. But for today, I'm going to focus on Duncan Creek Park. So I'm gonna head back on the main path. It's good to see that there are benches here. There's seating areas in this park. This park can benefit from having like more benches for sure. Look at that, so nice, right? A lot of trees. So many trees actually. I already felt so relaxed. Like even within the first minute of walking into this park, I already felt so relaxed. Like within the first few minutes, I would say. Within the first 5 minutes. I already felt so relaxed walking into this park. There are just many trees. It is also a nice park to like walk your pets. You know, you have any dogs or like you want to go like walk your dog though, this is a nice park because it is a long trail, a long path. I tend to like calling it a path more because it is paved. I like trails too, but the way I look at it, I would call it a trail if it was more of a natural trail. Like let's say for example though, if it's not a paved path, but it's more like a trail that's made out of mud, a trail that's made out of gravel, a trail that like if it's a path that looks more natural other than it being paved though, then I would like to call it a trail. There's a bench right here for observation, but then again there's a lot of plants right in front of the bench, so I don't think you can really see much if you sit in this bench. Well, unless these plants get trimmed or something, but the plants are like pretty long actually. Let's take a look. Good to have a seating area here. But you can't really see much because there's a lot of grass right in front of you. It is a lot of grass. I don't think you can really see much. All right, I'm gonna keep walking. I'm gonna keep walking along this path. Some of the trees are just getting so long, like long to the point where it's almost like dangling above you, you know? Like, it's like you walk though and then the leaves are like, almost like, not that it's falling though, but it's just like dangling low. You can tell that the trees like in this area has grew pretty long, some of them. Very bushy along the path. I think it is getting slightly windier, but not to the point where it's like hard to walk in, right? It is to the point where it's getting more relaxing and less humid. I think if I did this walk like hours ago, if I did this walk like a few hours earlier though, it would have been a bit too hot, you know? Especially when there's less clouds and right under the heat, under the sun. It would have been too hot. But right now, at this time, it's a pretty comfortable temperature to walk in. So I chose a pretty good time to come to this park. I think I really chose a good time to come to this park, and I'm pretty glad it did, you know? I'm pretty glad I chose a good time. I mean, obviously you want to feel comfortable during the walk, right? Like we all, I mean, like we all want to be comfortable during the walk, of course, man. Good thing there's more shade. I like this a lot. I like the fact there's more shade. Fits the walk so nicely. I could see like a difference in the, you know, I could see a difference in this area. There's more shade. But I just think because the path is so long though, there could have been more benches, right? Like, I mean, okay, all along this path though, like there's areas where there's a lot of shade and then there's areas where it's like less shade and more open to the sun, right? But I think there should be more benches. It really feels like I've been walking for a while. Really feels like it, man. It really feels like a long walk. So cool coming down here and checking out this park. Some winding paths, you know. Paths that are not always straight though, but paths that do like make turns, some curve left and right. So cool, right? It's good to come to like take a tour of the park and like, you know, take a look at nature. This is a really good place to walk. Oh, it is getting like a little darker over there, like probably because there's a lot of shade. See how long those trees have grown? Because of the fact that those trees have grown so long though, like there is going to be a lot of shade on that side. Oh, really cool, right? Honestly, like I think that Toronto has some of the coolest parks to walk in though. I don't know all the parks though, because Toronto there are many parks. There's many types of parks though. I say that a lot of them are either like different variations of parks though, like a lot of small parks, but there's also some big ones like this one. It is nice to walk on. Definitely you can see it's also a bike trail. It is a park that's good for walking but also good for biking. Now this path is a little bit more straight though. I can see that in this area though, like bikers would probably pick up the speed though, because it's straight though, right? They would probably like speed up a little bit, the bikers. But then of course, if there's a lot of curves though, then it's common sense that you wouldn't bike that fast, right? It's common sense, like people wouldn't bike that fast if there's a lot of curves, right? But when it's straight though, then like, it is kind of fun to like pick up the speed a little bit more, you know, increase the speed. It is even more straight now, the path. It's even more straight now, wow. Okay, the path is curving over there. It is curving left though, as you can see from a distance. I can still hear the water creek right next to me. It's so nice listening to the soothing water, you know, listening to the water, listening to the, you know, just walking in the nature, right? If this path was not paved though, it would have felt more natural, I'm telling you. But because the path is paved, so it's less natural, you know. But it's paved though, because it's paved for bikers, right? It is always like better to walk on paved paths, you know. It's better for like Many reasons though. It's better for not only bikers, but even for people in general, pedestrians in general, because like it's good for your shoes. When you walk on like natural paths though, it can take more like you know, it can go, because it can go a little harder on the shoes though, especially if it's like, if you're walking on bumpy paths though and stuff, you know. But when you're walking on flat paths though, like you know, your shoes don't get worn out too easily. But unless you have like the more like expensive pairs of shoes, better quality shoes. What a nice metal bridge. It probably makes some noise every time bikers go past this. Pretty nice metal bridge. Wow. Also a lot of rocks beside the bridge, as you can see. There's a lot of rocks. And you can actually see like the river or the water clearly through this bridge. Wow, finally I get a much clearer view of the water. Whoa, look at that, man. That looks so amazing. You can see it? Looks so amazing, right? Looks pretty natural. Wow. You can kind of see the water flowing. I can see that I'm getting closer to the street now though, so I think I'm reaching the end of this park. It is quite a decently long walk, but I think I'm already coming to the end of this park. There's apparently an exit right here though. You can see like this probably leads back to the road. Like let's take a look. I think it does. I think if I walk this way, it leads like to the end of the road. But I really gotta see. It does. It actually leads up to the road. Wow. Yeah, see, it leads up to the road, so there's really not much in this area. Yep. This path right here is an exit to the road, as you can see. I'm gonna walk back down. There's also a decent amount of shade here, given that a lot of trees here are like, there's a lot of trees right here. Trees are kind of dangling above you, you know, as you walk. Like the trees have grew pretty long. I really like to see if the park continues this way, but I don't think it's going to be that long. So the path is kind of running along, like running parallel to the road right beside me though, you know, so I think the park is like almost finished. I think this is almost like the end of the path, but it's a pretty like nice long path for people that like walking though, cycling, or, you know, like walking their pets. Yep, it's curving right onto the road though, so what that means is I think this park is like, this is a pretty long path. So the path ends right here. That's it for the park. Over there, the path continues though, but that probably leads to another park. So for today, I'm just going to stick with Duncan Creek Park. I would like to say thank you guys for watching my video. It was very fun to explore this park. I really enjoyed walking along this long path. Please subscribe to my channel.